Any other questions for our city attorney?
I do have some questions.
Alderman?
First of all, Mr. Harris, why are we just now finding out about this? Why weren't the rules followed from the beginning? And once the rules weren't followed, why didn't the alderman get notice?
Well, it appears to me that the process is that the mayor would make the nomination, and that is what the mayor is attempting to do at this time. He's already made that nomination. And so the process that we follow thereafter is that the election would take place at the next regularly scheduled board meeting, which I believe is in 3 weeks.
Well, if the proper procedures had been followed, though, I believe that the person who has been nominated would have still been an elected officer of the city and therefore would have been disqualified for this position. So the appearance, I think, to the public is that the vote, the nomination has been intentionally delayed in order to give a specific candidate an opportunity that he would not have had the rules been followed as they're written. Greg Markham resigned from the Industrial and Development Board on August 2016. The first regularly scheduled meeting of the board and mayor would have been on September 12, 2016. So that's when I believe the nomination should have been made and voted on. So the bylaws state, should any office of directorship become vacant, the mayor of the city of Germantown shall nominate a successor, and the board of mayor and aldermen shall elect a successor at their next regularly scheduled meeting. And such election shall be for the unexpired term of said office. So the nomination and election should have occurred on September 12, 2016 for the remainder of Mr. Markham's term, which would have gone through December 31st, 2020. The BMA, the mayor did not make a nomination, and the BMA did not vote to elect a member. There were meetings that followed after that. We had other meetings. This was before I became an alderman, but there were BMA meetings on September 26th, October 10th, October 24th, November 14th, November 28th, November 30th, December 1st, December 12th, and then again in January. So it still leaves that question of why we waited until now to receive the nominations and vote on this, because again, the current nominee would have been precluded from accepting this nomination to the Industrial Development Board had we followed the rules. Had the mayor made the nomination on September 12th or at any of those other BMA meetings between that time and tonight, Mr. Clan would have been precluded from accepting that office.
Is there a question for our attorney?
Well, yes, I want to know why there was no nomination forthcoming at any of those regularly scheduled meetings between September 12th and tonight.
The bylaws don't say when the nomination is to take place. It simply says that the mayor shall nominate a successor, and the board of mayor and aldermen shall elect a successor at their next regular meeting. And my understanding is the mayor is making this nomination. He has made this nomination this evening. And so it'll be elected or not at the next regular meeting.
Alderman Barzizan.
But to Mr. Massey's point, the fact of the matter is 6 months ago, a gentleman resigned from the board. Based on what he just said, that appointment should have been made at the next Board of Aldermen meeting and voted on the Board of Aldermen meeting after that. So we are not following the bylaws of the board.
City Attorney, is that, I think the question is on following the procedures for future nominations. Is that fair to say?
Right, and what I'm sharing with you is what the bylaws say, is that the mayor shall nominate the successor, a successor, and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen shall elect a successor at their next regular meeting. This nomination is taking place tonight, therefore the election will be at the next regular board meeting, which is 3 weeks from now. That's the language that you
So
find
what
it
you're
in
saying is the
bylaws.
position can remain unfilled until the mayor brings forth a nomination. Is that accurate?
That's what's happening.
Any other questions for our city attorney?
Why was this position not filled at the IDB meeting when we had the special commission meeting? What notice has gone out to the public that there was even a vacancy on the Industrial Development Board beyond what we provided during the commission selection process?
I don't think that's a legal question. Mr. Lawton?
But it's a
Hold on one second.
Excuse me, Mayor, but it's a point of bringing clarity and openness. The people of Germantown are concerned about transparency here. And this
Well,
is,
he's about to answer the question.
yeah.
I'm going to attempt to answer the question and reinforce what Mr. Harris said, that section of the bylaws that you all are describing when there's a vacancy, it does not describe or discuss when that will be filled. It simply says the mayor will nominate, and then the Board of Mayor and Aldermen will appoint at that next meeting. There is no guideline or timeline identified in when that will happen. The IDB has been in place since 2001. I can tell you, due to a variety of circumstances, there have been vacancies that have been on the Industrial Development Board that have lasted for months and months, longer than this period of time. The nomination, in terms of opening that up, the nomination process is strictly in the hands of the mayor to make that nomination and present that to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
So are we just giving our citizens the illusion that they have an opportunity to apply and be nominated to these boards? And I ask that because we know that we have Ms. Geyer who applied during the required time frame for accepting applications. I asked the clerk if she could tell me when the vacancy for the Industrial Development Board was posted. So this is a vacancy that we posted to the public, and we gave them the impression that if they applied, they would be considered and possibly nominated to this position. I was told that in the fall, the administration issued a press release, posted on the website, and reminded current members that applications for all boards and commissions would be accepted from November 1st through the 30th. Therefore, I have to conclude that it was the intent at some point by someone to open the process up to the public, and those who applied, if they were qualified, would be appointed to that position on the Industrial Development Board. And I think we all agreed the night of the commission meeting that Ms. Geyer was very qualified and would do well in this position. And so I'm just wondering, at this point, if we have to go back and provide additional notice to the public, this is a very important board. These people are going to handle a lot of money. And I think the public needs to have the opportunity to apply for these positions and make it known that they're interested. At a minimum, I personally would like to see Ms. Geyer appointed.